Hello everyone, welcome to the steering team training for SI2 Cycle 2 and Cycle 3 schools. The topic of today's video is Intervention Kickoff. My name is Sue Reynolds and I am president of the American Student Achievement Institute. So we'll begin again with odds and ends, and just want to make sure that our conference is on everybody's calendar. This year we're going to do a special focus on teacher renewal. Just celebrating the fact that we are wonderful professionals doing great things for Indiana's young people. So conference date is February 17th, and you can go to our website /conference2016 to register. So also want to remind everybody that the small learning community for this month will be on September 3rd, and during that time you'll be able to ask questions about this video. You'll be able to talk with other schools, so if there's anything that you need from us, both I and Tina Weissman, our strategic planning specialist for SI2, will be at that small learning community. So want to now talk about facilitating this month's discussion with your council. So last year we kind of learned that schools were starting to use two different discussion formats. Some schools like the new online discussion, and as a reminder, that's the discussion that kind of works like Facebook. We put up a prompt in the form of a video, and then we might put some links to data or something else that the council needs to look at before they start talking. And then the discussion all happens online, like Facebook, where somebody will put up a comment, other people can like the comment or respond to the comment with another comment. So there's the online discussion. Then some schools told us that while they appreciated the online discussion, they really liked the face-to-face discussion that they've always had. And so we know that many schools continued with the face-to-face discussion format. So this year we've set up the system so that the system will support both of those formats. So for each discussion, you can decide if you want to have that discussion online or if you want it to have it face-to-face. The other thing that you'll be able to do is, if you decide to have that discussion face-to-face and there's people that aren't able to attend your meeting, you'll be able to then tell them, well, why don't you go online and you can make your comments there. So you really have a lot of flexibility with the discussion format. The other thing that a lot of schools told us, many schools told us, was that they were combining the two formats. So there's really two ways to do that. We had a few schools that brought everybody together for a face-to-face, and while they were together face-to-face, they just showed the discussion prompt, the video. And then after the video, they asked everybody to, go back to their classrooms or to go back to their living rooms and to enter their discussion online. So that would be one way to do it, to show the video as a group, and then have people do the discussion individually online. Another way to combine the two that some schools did is they asked everybody to watch the video in their classrooms and living rooms before they came to the face-to-face meeting, and then they came to the face-to-face meeting and just had the discussion online. Those schools told us that they really liked that format because the part where folks were just listening, they could do prior to the meeting. So they watched the video prior to their meeting. And then being face-to-face, it really allowed the discussion, they thought, to flow a little bit better. So again, we invite your steering team to think about what's the best discussion format in your community. And that may change from month to month too, depending on what the content of the discussion is. So just something to think about as you get ready to facilitate this month's discussion. So we want to go to the process page and just kind of review the tasks that you have this month. So I will go to the process page. So I'm logged in as Demo SI2 School, and I'm going to click on Process. And you can see that if I scroll down to this month's activities, I'm looking at the Intervention Kickoff. The council video we put up first, and You've already watched that prior to attending this steering team video. So first step was to watch the council video, kind of get an idea of what that discussion is going to be all about. Second step is to watch this video, to watch this video, which teaches you kind of how and gives you some tips for how to facilitate, how to set up that discussion. And then the next step is to participate in the learning community. And again, the format of that's going to be a little different this year. It's going to be mainly Q&A and discussion that you all bring to the table. Tina and I will be there to participate in that discussion to answer any questions that you might have. But you can also ask questions to other schools. Then, after you've kind of got all that preparation behind you, then the next step is to open up the discussion. So to do that, we're going to click on, first of all, this page, and you'll see that we've kind of outlined the discussion format for you, the different formats. Then instructions on how to open the discussion. And the one thing we really want to emphasize is that even if you're doing a face-to-face discussion, you still need to open the discussion online. So all schools that are having the face-to-face discussions will need to open the discussion online, which will send automatically invitations to all of your council members. So the next step then is to, let me scroll down here again. The next step is to customize your email. So first question, will you have an in-person meeting as well as the online discussion? So mainly, is that going to be an in-person meeting, but then knowing that you also have the option to have some people to discuss online if they weren't able to attend the meeting. So you're going to say yes, and then put in the date, the time, and the location. Or you're going to say no, in-person meeting, it's going to be online discussion only. So then just a note that the discussion will open as soon as you click the send invitation button. So, and then we need to know, when do you want the discussion to close? So just a note to you that all of the work based on the discussion for the month is due at the end of the month. So if you know your work is due on the 31st, you might decide you wanted to close that discussion on the 20th to give you a week and a half or so to take everybody's comments and then use those comments to develop the products. So, okay, so that's setting up the discussion and opening the discussion. Just want to remind you that you can monitor the discussion using this link, that will open up a page that asks you to, sorry, let me go back here. That will open up a page that asks you to verify that you're a steering team member, and then you can go in and monitor that discussion, see what everybody's saying. There's also a report that will print out that tells you several things about who's engaged in the discussion online, and how that's going. We really like that report, especially because for a lot of schools tell us that it's easier to get the teachers to engage maybe than the community members, or vice versa. And this will give you an idea of who's participating in the discussion and maybe who you need to send another invitation to. We want to make sure that your discussions are broad, that it's not just teachers, it's not just community members, it's all teachers. So this will give you a way to monitor who's participating in the discussion. And then it gives you a chance to send out additional emails to folks. Okay, so then after everybody has talked and the discussion is closed, then you want to come in and enter the discussion summary. If you have had the discussion face-to-face, you'll still come in and enter the discussion summary here. Or if you've had the discussion online, you'll read everybody's comments and then enter your summary. Okay, then for the student body prompt, I'll go over that in a minute when we get back to the PowerPoint slides, but this is where you would enter the summary of the student body discussion, and then on both of these summaries you can print reports. Also remember that on both of the summaries, both the council summary and the student body summary, that we need to submit those to Tina so that she can review them and give you tips and just kind of monitor what's going on. And also she'll check your work against our rubric for school improvement planning. So, okay, that's it. Remember too that you can check off your steps as you do them to just kind of let you know where the process is. So when you're finished watching this video, everybody could check off step 2 that you've watched this video. So, okay, so that's the online system. And let's go. Oh, one other thing. If you are having a face-to-face discussion in the manual, so you can do one of two things with that face-to-face discussion. You can either show the video face-to-face or have people watch the video before they get to your meeting. But it occurred to us that some of you might want to do that presentation yourself rather than show the video. So in the manual, we'll put in here that, yeah, these things aren't hot yet, but they will be by the time we have the learning community. In the manual, you can put in the council discussion video slides. So you could download those slides and then do the presentation yourself. Or if you don't like those slides, you can edit the slides and then do the presentation yourself. So lots of flexibility there. Okay, okay, so let's go back to the PowerPoint. Couple other little tips. Okay, so that's the process page, and then just some notes. First of all, pre-discussion. In order for this online discussion to work or for the face-to-face discussion to work, you have to have your interventions for 2015-16 all set. So good news is that your school improvement plans that you wrote last year for this year are set, and so it's just a matter of talking about the interventions that you did all that planning around last year and are now implementing this year. Okay, so post-discussion task. As a reminder, in this discussion, what we are asking is for people to look at each of your interventions and to tell everybody what they could do to help implement that intervention. So if it's an intervention that all the third grade teachers are doing, then the third grade teachers are going to say, well, we're going to do this. It may be that the parents on your council could say, you know, as the teachers are implementing this, we can talk about it at home over the dinner table with our kids. So for each intervention, everybody's kind of talking about what role could they play. So in post-discussion, there will be a document that you can print that lists the title of each intervention and then lists everybody's names and what they said they were going to do. So this is actually something that I used to do when I was in the schools. One of my principals did this, and I thought it was such a cool idea. So if you get this list of each intervention and whatever each person individually is going to do, one of the things that we suggest to you is you blow that list up into a poster size, enlarge it into a poster size. I guess I said blow it up. I know we don't want to blow it up. We're going to enlarge it into a poster size. And then just put it on the wall in a public area. In my school, my principal put it up in the teacher's workroom. And then she just asked us, you know, as you complete the things you said you were going to do to implement that intervention, just initial it. And so, or you know, check it off. We initialed. And that was kind of nice because it kind of reminded us, each of us, what we were supposed to be doing to make that intervention work. And then as we did it, we could check it off. It was kind of a little bit of accountability. If somebody forgot something, one of their friends would remind them, don't forget you said you were going to do that. So it was just kind of a nice thing. So that's something that we discussed, that we suggest to you post-discussion. Okay, and then in terms of the student body, we also want to find out what the kids can do to help implement some of the interventions. So the discussion with the kids this month is to break them into small groups, or you could also do this as a writing prompt. You'll introduce the students to a few of the school's planned interventions for the year, and then for each of the interventions, you're just going to ask the kids, what could students do to help implement the interventions this year? So again, you know, we're asking, you know, we're helping the students to understand that raising student achievement is not just something that the adults do, it's something we all have a role in. And for each of these interventions, you know, what could you do? and hopefully that will help the kids feel that they're part of this, and they'll engage in implementing those interventions in the same way that the adults are. So, okay, so that's the student body discussion. And then finally, we want to kind of look ahead to December. In December, we'll be doing an analysis of each of your interventions to see a couple of things. The first question there is, did everyone do what they said they were going to do to implement the intervention? We know that in some of our schools, we sometimes have the best of plans, but the plans never get implemented. So what we'll have is some information for you that in December we'll give each person who said they were going to help with an intervention, we'll say, here's what you said you were going to do back in September, and did you do it? And people will just kind of indicate, yes we did, no we didn't. So that the poster that you're putting up on the walls in September right now, that can also be part of that analysis. But we want to be talking with people. Did you do the things you said you were going to do to implement this intervention? Then the second question we're going to discuss in December is the intervention having the desired impact on adult practices? So if you remember, when you designed the interventions, you put in, you indicated this is what we're going to count to make sure to see if this intervention impacted adult practices. So we're going to count the number of something or the percentage of something, and you put that in the system, and then you put in baseline data. So in December, we're going to ask you to put in follow-up data so we can get some kind of sense if the adults in the building or in the community are changing their practices in a way that's going to impact kids. So we want to know basically in December, were the interventions implemented and did they have the desired impact on adult practices? And then based on that discussion, we'll talk about, okay, what in-flight adjustments do we need for the rest of the year? So, so we're really wanting to get these interventions kicked off well in September, so in December we can start to see, are they making a difference? So, okay. So that's kind of the content. Again, if you have not watched the council video, we suggest you do that right now. But the way this should work is that you watch the council video first. That's going to kind of show you what the content of the discussion is, and then you watch this video, the steering team video. So if you did not do it in that order this month, please next month make sure you watch the council video first, because I'm not going to repeat anything in the council video, and then watch the steering team video. Okay, finally, remember that Tina is there to help you. We're continuing the 5-minute, which has become the 5-second rule. Seriously, anytime you are confused, please give Tina a call or send her an email. She's there to help you. She loves helping people. She's good at what she does. And we know as educators, you don't have, 2 days to wait for a phone call to be returned. So we want to be there immediately for you when you need us. So, okay, that sounds good. And hopefully you've been meeting Tina. I know she's been trying to call all the principals to introduce herself. So, okay, thanks so much. And we'll hope your month goes well, and we'll talk with you next month.